We are live. Alright, we are live. We are live. This is pretty cool. I don't know if there's a there's a speck on my screen, and I thought it was a speck on my beard, but this is cool. Alright. I'm at my favorite coffee shop right now. There's a lot of it's interesting again. Why do you pick a coffee shop? You pick a coffee shop because you pick a coffee shop because you like their coffee, or because you like the people over there. And this one is definitely about the people. So let's look into this. What exactly is curiosity? Pondered philosophical nature of curiosity without external research. Okay. Last time we also did some experimentation with transcendental meditation, and it's very interesting. There's this idea of transcendental meditation, but where they are making this thing which is really valuable to people, very proprietary. So I'm actually curious, like, who came up with this concept, transcendental meditation? Like, meditation is supposed to be this, but who came up with this concept that we are gonna package it, we're gonna make it restrictive, we are not gonna share this knowledge with everybody, because already there is so much upfront. We're talking about this Maslow's hierarchy of stimulation. Like, at the end of the day, everybody's seeking stimulation. The difference is that the highest forms of stimulation requires a lot of upfront cost. So how do you deal with that? So let's look into this. Who is the creator of transcendental meditation? TM. It's so interesting. I've not typed in a long time, so this feels really awkward. You just use VistaFlow. Founded by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. An Indian group introduced the technique in the mid-1950s in India and then spread worldwide. The disciple of Swami Brahmananda Saraswati, known as Gurudev, the Shankaracharya Jyotir Maths, and based TM principles from the Vedic tradition. The technique itself involves repeating a personalized mantra for about 20 minutes twice a day. I believe if you do this with the mantra that you repeat is just Om, and you do this, if you do this just sitting, it's amazing. It's amazing if you just do it sitting. So we'll do that. We'll do that. And I did one last night. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. It was very interesting. So Maharishi became internationally famous in the late 60s when the Beatles studied him in Rishikesh, India. Okay, wow, so much stuff is happening. Alright. Beatles studied him in Rishikesh, India, a moment that brought TM enormous Western attention. He went on to build a global organization that includes the Maharishi International University in Iowa. And TM has since been practiced by millions since very large, though sometimes contested, body of health research. Why isn't TM freely available in open source? I don't know why I am typing. I shouldn't be typing. Alright. Weighed official rationale against critics' perspectives. It comes down to how TM organization is structured and how it positions the technique, and it's generally a contested topic. Okay, let's do one thing. It comes down to how the TM organization is structured and how it positions the technique, and it's generally contested topic. The official rationale. TM is taught only through the Maharishi's organization by certified teachers, and course fees are used to cover teacher compensation expenses that support the teaching through a registered non-profit. In the US, the one-time fee runs roughly 380 to 960 on an income-based sliding scale. Very cool. What is this? One-time fee means everyone learns the same TM course. The price you pay depends on your income. People with lower income pay close to 380. People with higher income pay close to 960. You pay once, not as monthly subscription. Middle income, higher income. Use this model to make the course more accessible while still generating enough revenue to pay teachers and fund the organization. Income-based sliding scale. Covering a 4-day course plus lifetime access to group meditations, refreshers, and follow-up support. The organization argues that teachers undergo years of training and the fee supports that education and certification. It does make sense. Whatever you do, there has to be a way to make it really sustainable. So that is incredibly important. You have to figure out a really good way to how to monetize, how do you make the business sustainable, how do you make the business profitable. So it does make sense. I'm guessing what the structure is that, okay, if you're a student, pay 380. If you are young and a student, pay 380. If your income is less than 100k, pay 500. If your income is more than 100k, I'm guessing they should charge even more because the rise is exponential. The rise is not linear. The rise is always exponential. So I would actually imagine that the person who is making more than 500k, anything more than 100k, and if this is really important to them, you should be charging them 2,000. Covering 4-day course plus lifetime access to group meditation, refreshers, and follow-up support, the organization argues that teachers undergo years of training and the fee supports that education and certification, and that standardized in-person instruction also guarantees the technique is learned correctly. The technique is learned correctly. There's also quite a commercial logic at work. A high fee is believed to encourage commitment from participants, and pricing signals legitimacy. Pricing signals legitimacy. I think that is also very important. When you price things, people actually take that seriously. People actually think that okay, you are doing something legit. People are paying for it. This is a proper business, and that's what business is, right? Like, what is coffee? Coffee is just milk and this powder, and the fact that you are paying $3 for it all the time, which means that okay, this thing is legit. Quite a commercial logic, and that's everything. We have made coffee so much simpler, but that's basically everything. The reproduction is not open source. Deliberately built TM as a proprietary trademark system. The core claim is that each student receives a personalized mantra selected by a trained teacher, that self-taught or book-learned versions don't work the same way. The teaching method is standardized and controlled, and teachers sign agreements not to reveal the mantra selection process. This protects both the brand and revenue stream that funds the global organization, its universities, and its initiatives. Very interesting. So even though this guy is talking about spirituality, talking about openness, talking about how everything is one, he is still trademarking things, he's still making things secret. And the reason is more deeper than that. And what is the reason? The reason is more like when you have a secret, people want to know the secret. When you have something proprietary, when you have a mystery, people want to know the mystery. If everything is just put out there, you don't trust it, you don't believe it. So this is also very interesting, because anyways, the people who were not interested in this, were never gonna come reach out to you. And teachers sign agreements not to reveal mantra selection process. This protects both the brand and revenue stream, the board that funds the global organization, its universities, and its initiatives. Skeptics point out that mantras aren't really individualized. Teacher training documents show they are assigned from a short list, mainly by age and the underlying technique, effortless silent mantra repetition. Centuries old and not ownable. Exactly. Exactly. Herbert Benson's research in the 1970s found similar physiological effects from a generic version he called the relaxation response using any neutral word. Using any neutral word. So if you want the substance without the price tag, functionally similar approaches exist. Benson's The Relaxation Response, the free One Giant Mind app, or NSR Natural Stress Relief, which was created by former TM teachers specifically as a low-cost alternative. What you'd be paying TM for is the brand, the in-person instruction, and the lifetime follow-up. The in-person instruction, and the lifetime follow-up. Yeah, I think even TM should really charge for the events. This is kind of like weird, yeah, because you should be charging more for the community, the events, the creating that environment, and bunch of things that come from the community rather than yeah, right. I think it's just a much smarter business model when you start charging people based on based on the community, based on the event space, rather than based on, oh, this is my secret and I will tell you the secret and now you know the secret and now okay, pay me money for this secret. You have to charge for much more than that. You have to charge for this environment that you create, this community that you create, the way of thinking, the closer access to you that people want. That seems way more valuable. That seems way more valuable than yeah, that seems way more valuable than simply charging for, hey, here's the mantra selection process. And people also, like, how are you helping your students? How are you helping these people when you are saying that the secret is in this mantra? No, the secret is in the practice. The secret is in the practice that you decide to do every single day, and that you decide to do every single day. That is the secret. So interesting. Because even if you give this mantra, even if you give this GM mantra to someone and they don't practice this, and they don't practice this twice daily, they don't actually sit down daily to make something like this happen, there's no point. It's a beautiful view. This is a beautiful view. We love working in environments which are very open, close to nature. This is beautiful. There's another coffee shop. Maybe it has better coffee. Maybe it looks more Western, but it doesn't have the view. It doesn't have the open view, which is necessary when you are working, when you want to be in a very expansive state. What are the benefits of TN? Not TN. TM. Clear benefits are extensive and there's a large research base. There's a large research page though with important caveats about its quality. Here's a fair picture. Best supported benefits. Stress and anxiety reduction is the strongest area. Meta-analysis, 16 randomized controlled trials. I don't know why people are trying to prove this. It's just that, hey, this is the right thing to be doing. There is the western frontier and there's the eastern frontier. The western frontier is land, space. The western frontier is land and space. Go explore new lands. Go explore what's up in the sky. Go explore what's down in the ocean. And that's how you open your mind. The eastern frontier is inside. The eastern frontier is how deeper can you go, how much time can you spend over there. And that's how you open your mind. Western frontier, land, space, ocean. Eastern frontier. Close your eyes. Go inside your mind. Go deeper inside. Go deep inside your mind. I like it. I like it. Western frontier, land, space, ocean. Eastern frontier. Close eyes. Close your eyes. Go deep inside your mind. Western frontier, explore land, space, ocean. Explore. Explore. Eastern frontier, close your eyes, go deep inside your mind. Very interesting, very interesting. This is where you can maybe explore both. This is where maybe you can explore both. You can go deeper. NS, network school is maybe both. You are going after new lands. You're going after new lands. You are building on new lands, and then you're also going deeper into your own mind. Very interesting. Who sounded on highly anxious and benefits appeared within first 2 weeks and were sustained at 3 years. Meta-analysis of controlled studies found clinically meaningful blood pressure reductions of about 5 2.8 mmHg. The American Heart Association acknowledged. It's about the practice. What do you charge? What do you charge for is the practice. What do you charge for is the environment that you create, the community that you create. That's it. PTSD. A newer research area showing promise. 24-25 systemic review. Okay, now I have an idea. I have an idea and we have to make it happen. I have an idea and we have to make it happen. A live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. Let's go. Interesting. Right, this is how you do it, right? You just flow. You just flow. School of Curiosity. I have one person who has started actually doing streams after we started, after they heard about what I do. Who else can I put on over here? School of Curiosity. A live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. A live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. School of Curiosity. So it's about the practice. It's about the practice. It's not me charging for one specific thing. It's about the practice. It's similar to meditation. It's similar to meditation. What you're doing is you are getting curious. You are engaging with the world. There are not many opportunities for you to really engage, to really talk about the ways, talk about the things that you think, talk about the way how you think. We think that we have to kind of put all our thoughts into. I always used to think about that I have to put all my thoughts into this little text box on Twitter, and I hope somebody reads that. And there's a lot of constraints over here. Yes, all those constraints are good, but constraints are good. That leads to creativity. But what would be even much more interesting is that you actually get an opportunity to talk through your ideas. You actually get an opportunity to talk through your ideas, talk through all the things that you're thinking. And what happens then is it's very interesting. So what's really happening over here? It's making people accountable to stay curious. It's making people accountable to stay curious. School of Curiosity. School of Curiosity. It's about the practice. It's about the practice. It's not a one-off. It's not a one-off. It's not a one-off technique. So it's not a technique. It's not a specific, I'm writing in French, that I am giving you. It's about the practice of curiosity and keeping you accountable to stay curious. It's keeping you accountable to stay curious. That's it. A live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. Very interesting. I've been talking about this with a lot of people, but I'll start with this one friend. And then we'll slowly go from there. Okay, cool. PTSD, a new research area showing promise. 2024-25 systematic review of meditation treatments found large effect size for TM, significantly greater than mindfulness-based and other meditation categories. Much of this work involves veterans. Okay. Physiological rest. Meta-analysis of physiological research found TM produces a state of deep rest versus controls, measured by reduced respiration rate, skin conductance, and plasma lactate. I think it's so important. This is like, I always think about this. It's like Stephen Pressfield has this book, War of Art. I absolutely love it. I absolutely love War of Art. What's the difference? What's the thing that I especially love about it? I think there's this idea that if you truly go after what you want, everything else just gets fixed. It's so important to remind yourself that if you just maintain this practice, if this is what I truly want, I want to go live, I want to do a live stream a day keeps the ordinary away. If I truly want to do this, then every other problem in my life will just be fixed. This is beautiful. You are the student of curiosity. You are not student of me. You are the student of curiosity, school of curiosity. You are the student of curiosity. I'm just a shaman who is nudging you along the way. I'm just a shaman nudging you along the way. That's it. I'm just a shaman nudging you along the way. Very interesting. Yesterday we had some beautiful time. So last night something beautiful happened. Yesterday I was doing the stream over here and I'm thinking of my friend. And the reason I'm thinking about her is because she said this one thing. She said this one thing where she goes, Prashant, Vancouver is too small for you. And she said this in a very quick interaction. A very quick interaction. It's like so quick that you were just, what's the way how you say it? You're just exchanging pleasantries. But she says that Prashant, Vancouver is too small for you. And then I go, and I hear that, I don't respond to it. I'm just saying, thank you so much. I really appreciate you as a friend. And it's been 2 months. And yesterday, I just think about her. And I message her that, hey, I was just talking about you with a friend last night on a walk. And she's like, I also thought about you on one of my seawall walks. And then she goes to sleep because it's time to sleep in Vancouver. And then she wakes up and it's like evening time over here. And I get a message from her. And she says that this is also crazy because you were saying all this stuff to me on my birthday without even knowing that it's my birthday. And I'm like, that is the craziest thing. This is why I feel like during these streams tune me into the highest frequency state. These streams tune me into the state where I'm doing the right things, where I'm just pulled towards the right things. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. And then I sent her, we used to go to this one coffee shop, Small Victory. I'm talking to another friend from Vancouver and I'm like, hey, can you do me a favor? Can you send this one cheesecake from our favorite coffee shop to my friend in Vancouver? And maybe I did all this just for a joke, because way back I did this joke. Because the place is called Small Victory, I was like, it's no small victory. And then I sent, after all her messages and thank you and heart emojis, I sending strawberry cheesecake all the way from Singapore to Vancouver to Peter Walls. It's no small victory. I did all this just for this beautiful joke, or what do we say, beautiful wordplay. Beautiful wordplay, this beautiful wordplay. I was so happy. Yeah, sometimes you do all this crazy stuff just for just for a joke. What's special is that you were saying these words on my birthday, probably without even knowing it, and that just feels like something very meaningful to me. Thank you. Yes, I meant those words. For a mind like yours, you almost certainly have to be relocating. Vancouver is magically comfortable, but sometimes comfort can be an enemy of growth. I hope we can see each other sooner than later. Wow. 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 I really like the few people, and I really like giving them very specific appreciation. It's really, I love giving very specific appreciation. And this is what I wrote for her. There's this ideal of divine feminine energy that a man looks for. I see that in you. There's this ideal of divine feminine energy that a man looks for. I see that in you. What does it mean when a woman is very tuned in to her femininity? I don't know how to say femininity. Femininity. Yeah. For a woman to be very tuned into her femininity, she has to have really strong masculine on her side. It's a phrase that means different things depending on who's using it, so it's worth unpacking the main senses. In everyday usage, it usually describes a woman. It usually describes a woman who feels comfortable and at home in qualities culturally coded as feminine. It usually describes a woman who feels comfortable and at home in qualities culturally coded as feminine and expresses them without self-consciousness. Especially for women, you want the women to be tuned in into their femininity. You want women to be actually really feminine, because what does that mean? That means that they are now comfortable to be playful, to be alive, to be childlike. If they are too busy, too stressed out with the daily chores and all the stuff that they don't want to do but they have to do, they don't have time to be feminine, and you are not really getting the most out of them, or you are not experiencing the real person. You are not getting the gift that they are here to give. You are not letting them give their gift. It's very important. It's very important. It usually describes a woman who feels comfortable and at home in qualities culturally coded as feminine. And expresses them without self-consciousness. That might include warmth, receptivity, emotional attunement, grace, playfulness, nurturing, sensuality, or aesthetic expression. How she dresses, moves, decorates, relates. And expresses them without self-consciousness. That might include warmth, receptivity, emotional attunement, grace, playfulness, nurturing, sensuality, or aesthetic expression. It's very interesting. When I was talking to this friend, and she was like, how's network school? I'm like, this feels free. This feels free. This is exactly what I wanted. a part of me was like, am I making a conclusive statement over here that this is what everyone should want? This is what I would advise you to do as well? No. The very second, I was like, no, for me at this stage of my life, this is the right thing. But I'm not going to say that this is what you should do as well. I'm not going to say that this is what you should do as well. This is what you should also make this move. Because for an extremely feminine person, or to stay in your femininity, you have to do what you truly want. And if that means that cooking, if that means just cooking in your room, in your house, something for your loved ones, then that's it. Then that's what you have to do. Then that if you are feeling extremely feminine and you feel like all your things are taken care of, so you can be extremely feminine and you can really let your child, like, you can be alive, all that stuff, then that's right for you. And I think the fact that this person is responding in this way, this means that they are tuned in, which means they are doing the right thing for themselves. Warmth, receptivity, emotion, attunement, grace, playfulness, nurturing, sensuality or aesthetic expression, how she dresses, moves, decorates, relates. The emphasis is on ease. She's not performing femininity or suppressing it, she simply inhabits it. That's it. It's like, it's not that you're performing this idea of femininity, it's just that this is what you are. You feel from your core that this is the right thing to be doing right now. In psychological terms, you could describe it as congruence. Her self-image, body awareness, emotional life, and outward expression all line up. Her self-image, body awareness, emotional life, and outward expression all line up. Someone tuned in to her femininity tends to be embodied, present in her body rather than living entirely in her head. Emotionally literate and unapologetic about traits she might otherwise have downplayed in environments that reward stereotypically masculine molds like competitiveness or stoicism. Wow. Tends to be embodied, present in her body rather than living entirely in her head. Emotionally literate and unapologetic about traits she might otherwise have downplayed in environments that reward stereotypically masculine molds like competitiveness or stoicism. In spiritual and personal development circles, where this phrase is especially common, there was this very beautiful thing that somebody said, that let's say your life is a movie. Let's say your life is a movie and everybody is watching that movie in a theater. At this point, hello? Prashant.
Prashant.
Yeah.
Is the music okay?
Music is okay, yes. Thank you. So let's say your life is a movie and everybody is in a theater watching this movie. What would you want at this point in time when everybody's watching your movie? What would you want at this point in time for everybody to shout at you that do this? What the heck are you doing? You should be doing this. Bro, are you crazy? You should be doing this. Very interesting. Now I'm thinking like, what is that for me? What is that for me? Very interesting. it's also interesting. It's like there's this idea that when you are in a relationship, you end up having a lot of low quality interactions. Okay, so
Olivia next time.
Olivia, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so yeah. So in a relationship, what can end up happening is that you are having a lot of low quality interactions. You end up having a lot of low quality interactions. You are beside each other, but you are all both scrolling TikTok. You are beside each other, but you are both not even talking, engaging with each other. What you ideally want is high quality interactions. You want high quality interactions. You end up being beside each other and having a lot of low quality interactions. And this is what I absolutely love, that with this person, all I do is have high quality interactions. Every time I'm with them, I am having high quality interactions. And if I'm not having high quality interactions, if I don't have anything to have high quality interactions, I don't talk to them. So the only time I engage is high quality, which becomes very interesting. And maybe that's the way how you must operate. That's the way how you must operate. High quality interactions only. Divine feminine energy frameworks. It refers to embodying a particular energetic polarity, being, receiving, flowing, intuiting, creating, as opposed to the masculine pole of doing, directing, structuring, achieving. In this view, every person carries both, and a woman tuned into her femininity is one who leads with the feminine pole rather than operating mostly from masculine mode striving. A few important nuances. Femininity isn't one fixed thing. What counts as feminine varies enormously across cultures and eras. A Maasai woman, a Parisian woman, and a 1950s American housewife would each recognize a different picture. It doesn't mean passive, weak, or decorative. It doesn't mean passive, weak, or decorative. Most frameworks that use this language describe the feminine as a kind of power, magnetic rather than forceful. I think Zan Perion has done an incredible job over here. With the way he has studied and with the way he is talking about things. You do need a lot of experience. You do need to be out there talking to women to really understand women. And it seems like this is all it. Like it sometimes feels like we go on this entire journey of life just because we are avoiding this one important thing. And we are not solving this one important problem of relationship. We're not solving this very important problem, and we try to think that all this external stuff, AI agents, solving all these external stuff like AI agents and operations and shipping and all that stuff is gonna fix it, because we can put all our energy into this and we can forget about the personal relationship side. So interesting. Femininity isn't one thing. What counts as feminine varies enormously across cultures and eras. A Maasai woman, a Parisian woman, and a 1950s American housewife would each recognize a different picture. It doesn't mean passive, weak, or decorative. Most frameworks that use this language describe the feminine as a kind of power, magnetic rather than forceful. It's not the opposite of being capable or ambitious. A woman can run a company and be deeply in her feminine. The phrase is about her relationship to herself, not her resume. Critics of the concept point out it can smuggle in restrictive gender stereotypes dressed up as empowerment, telling women there's a right way to be female. The tension is real and people land differently on it. So the most neutral definition might be a woman who knows that femininity means to her, feels connected to it in her body and emotions, and expresses it freely rather than suppressing or performing it. Rather than suppressing or performing it. What does it mean when a man is tuned into his masculinity? Okay, so now we looked into femininity. Now, what does masculinity mean? What does it mean to be tuned in to his masculinity? Let's see what that means. It's a mirror image of the previous question, and the same layers apply in everyday usage. It describes a man who feels settled and at ease in qualities culturally coded as masculine: groundedness, decisiveness, protectiveness, groundedness, decisiveness, protectiveness, directness, strength under pressure, a sense of purpose or mission, a sense of purpose or mission. Sense of purpose or mission. The key marker, again, is ease. He's not posturing or proving anything. Men who perform masculinity loudly, dominance displays, bravado, needing to win every exchange, are usually seen as the opposite of tuned in. Genuine connection to masculinity tends to read as quiet confidence and self-possession. Quiet confidence and self-possession. Psychologically suggests congruence and security. It suggests congruence and security. He knows who he is. He knows who he is. His actions match his values. He can hold steady in conflict or crisis without becoming reactive. It suggests congruence and security. He knows who he is. His actions match his values. He can hold steady in conflict or crisis without becoming reactive. And he doesn't need external validation to feel like a man. He can hold steady in conflict or crisis without becoming reactive. And he doesn't need external validation to feel like a man. It also typically includes comfort with the parts of himself that aren't stereotypically masculine. It suggests congruence and security. He knows who he is. His actions match his values. He can hold steady in conflict or crisis without becoming reactive. And he doesn't need external validation to feel like a man. It also typically includes comfort with the parts of himself that aren't stereotypically masculine. This is also very interesting. It's like when I'm streaming, there comes a point when I forget that we are streaming. There comes a point that it's like movies, right? The actor shoots a lot of shots. The actor has to forget that, let's say Ranveer Singh in Dhurandhar. Ranveer Singh has to forget that he's Ranveer Singh, and Ranveer Singh has to really tune in into this character that was created, which is Hamza Ali Mansari. And he has to really adopt that character. He has to really adopt that character. And while he's filming, there has to be a point where he has to really tune in into Hamza Ali Mansari at the click of camera, at the shout of the director. He has to really click into it. But that takes time. That is master level craft. That is master level craft to really get into the zone. So what happens now for us is that yeah. What happens now for me is that when I turn on this live stream, after the first 30 minutes, let's say, sometimes I'm just tuned in. I think now I'm more in a habit where I'm tuned in and I can like just start speaking at the click of a button. But even then, there comes a point where after 30 minutes I'm really tuned in, I'm really lost. I don't even know that we are live streaming and I'm just talking. And that is the flow state that you want to reach, where you are very natural, where the true self is coming out, where the true self is talking. That's it. That's it. That's very interesting. Imagine, you cannot imagine how this works, where they are like, where they go like, okay, go, the action, the director shouts action, and the actor has to suddenly click into the role of this new person. It's crazy. Outside of movies, what is a daily practice that all the legendary actors immerse themselves in? Outside of movie shooting, what is a daily practice that all the legendary actors immerse themselves in? There is a single practice that all legendary actors share. Look across people is different. They remain students of human nature, not just when a camera is rolling every day. Their practices often look surprisingly ordinary, observing people. Many great actors spend years watching how people move, speak, hesitate, flirt, lie, grieve, and celebrate. They treat life as an endless field study. Brando would sit in cafes and watch people for hours. Pacino has spoken about simply walking around cities and absorbing them. Raw material is human behavior, reading constantly, not only scripts, novels, biographies, philosophy, history, poetry. Actors need a large inner world because every character borrows from it. Streep is famously voracious in her reading. Hopkins reads constantly. Wow. Journaling and reflection. Many actors keep notebooks not because they are trying to become productive, because they are trying to become perceptive. They collect observations, emotions, fragments of dialogue, dreams, memories. They collect observations, emotions, fragments of dialogue, dreams, memories, voice and body work. The best actors is very interesting. You have to just commit to this one thing. And then your entire life revolves around it. You have to just commit to it, and then your entire life revolves around it. You have to commit to this, and then your entire life revolves around it. The best actors treat their voice and body like a violinist treats an instrument daily. Breathing exercises, stretching, movement, singing, speech practice, not glamorous, just maintenance. The best actors treat their voice and body like a violinist treats an instrument daily. Breathing exercises, stretching, movement, singing, speech practice. Not glamorous, just maintenance. Remaining curious, this may be the deepest commonality. Legendary actors are often obsessed with questions. Why did that person say that? What was she afraid of? What does power feel like? What happens when someone loses everything? This may be the deepest commonality. Legendary actors are often obsessed with questions. Breathing exercises, stretching, movement, singing, speech practice, not glamorous, just maintenance. Yeah, once you commit to this, you are on a lifelong journey to keep pushing, to keep trying new things, all to serve that one purpose. So we just started this group chat called School of Curiosity. 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 Let's see. I don't know if we have. Let me check. Let me quickly check. What happens if I go and search School of Curiosity? What happens? Operating system for learning. The question is more important than the answer. The School of Curiosity. curious minds, train resilient professionals, and mentor leaders for the future by embracing the power of curiosity. We empower you with essential skills to excel in a rapidly changing world. Discover our talks, training sessions, personalized mentorship, innovative micro-learning experiences, all carefully crafted by Anna Williams, renowned as the Wonder Woman of Curiosity. +2,000 professionals and leaders inspired and trained worldwide. Cutting-edge techniques designed to awaken and enhance curiosity in minutes. Kick off learning with Anna, her session to really spark curiosity in people, what I appreciated most. Very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Remaining curious. This may be the deepest commonality. Resident reactors are often obsessed with the questions. Why did that person say that? What was she afraid of? What was she afraid of? What does power feel like? What happens when someone loses everything? They're not trying to become characters, they're trying to understand people. Living, this sounds obvious, but many great actors emphasize on not acting, living, falling in love. Living, not acting, living, falling in love, traveling, failing, starting businesses, having friendships, losing people, getting embarrassed. Without life experience, performances become copies of other performances. Falling in love, traveling, failing, starting businesses, having friendships, losing people, getting embarrassed. Without life experience, performances become copies of other performances. Very interesting. Without life experience, performances become copies of other performances. Something like this is especially interesting because your live streams are already creating a similar practice. Every conversation, every guest, every rabbit hole into architecture, AI, meditation, beauty, masculinity, curiosity is expanding a moral human experience. It's paying attention. The practice beneath acting is not acting. The legendary actors tend to become masters of attention long before they become masters of performance. Masters of attention. And he doesn't need external validation to feel like a man. It also typically includes comfort with the parts of himself that aren't stereotypically masculine, being able to feel and express emotion without it threatening its identity. Paradoxically, men most secure in their masculinity are often the least rigid about it. In spiritual and men's work circles, masculinity is framed as an energetic polarity, presence, direction, presence, direction, structure, purpose, the capacity to hold steady, the mountain to the feminine weather, presence, direction, presence, direction, structure, purpose, the capacity to hold steady, the capacity to hold steady, direction, presence, direction. Presence, direction, structure. That's very interesting. I think all the work that you do has to come from a really rich foundation material. So you have to give yourself time for a really rich foundation material before you bring out that one work. It's all the work that you do that has to be done in silence for you to bring out the thing that matters, the product that matters, the gift that matters. Masculinity is framed as an energetic polarity, presence, direction, structure, purpose, the capacity to hold steady, the mountain to the feminine weather in one popular metaphor. A man tuned into his masculine is one who leads from presence to purpose. It's also interesting. At network school we talk about that, oh, why don't we have a lot of women over here? That basically means that have you created, you will attract all the women if you have created a mountain over here. If you have created a really strong structure over here, you will attract the women. So you have to first start with that. If you have created a place with structure, with purpose, that can hold steady, you will attract the women. So you have to focus on that. If you have created a thing strong enough, you will attract the women. A man tuned to his masculine is one who leads from presence and purpose. He knows where he's going, keeps his word. I'm thinking of it right now, that yes, if there are 100 men and 100 women, if all 100 women die, the civilization ends. So what you have to do, the men are more disposable. The men go out. And to do that, they talk about that, oh, you need to make money. This, you want to do this because of legacy. You want to do this because of making money and all of that stuff. But at the end of the day, why you're doing this is because you want to be the one. Are you going to be the one who's going to attract the women? Are you going to be the one who's going to continue the bloodline? We talk about bloodline. We talk about legacy. We talk about valor, we talk about pride and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, it's just the fact that who's gonna actually make love with a beautiful woman, and who's gonna continue the bloodline, who's gonna continue the civilization. So out of 100 men, 80 will go out and fight, 20 will come back, and out of 100, those 100 men will go out and fight, 20 will come back, 20 of them will reproduce with the remaining 100, and that will continue the civilization. And that has always happened. Masculine is framed as an energetic polarity, presence, direction, structure, purpose, the capacity to hold steady. A man tuned into his masculine is one who leads from presence and purpose. Presence and purpose. Presence and purpose. He knows where he's going, keeps his word, stays grounded when emotions run high around him. He knows where he's going, keeps his word, stays grounded when emotions run high around him, and offers a kind of stability others can relax into. And offers a kind of stability others can relax into. Offers a stability that others can relax into. Frameworks like David Dida's The Way of Superior Man or the Jungian King, Warrior, Magical, Magician, Liber archetypes are common reference points here. The same nuances apply. What counts as masculine varies hugely by culture and era. A samurai, a Victorian gentleman, and a modern firefighter embody quite different versions. It's not aggression, dominance, or emotional suppression. Most serious frameworks distinguish mature masculinity, grounded, generative, protective, from immature or toxic expressions, controlling, insecure, destructive, which are usually read as disconnection from masculinity rather than access of it. It doesn't preclude tenderness, vulnerability, or nurturing. Arguably, it enables them. Since a man secure in his identity can be soft without feeling diminished. Since a man secure in his identity can be soft without feeling diminished, the same critique applies to this language can repackage gender stereotypes as prescriptions, implying there is one right way to be a man. So parallel neutral definition, a man who knows what masculinity means to him, feels grounded in it rather than anxious about it, and expresses it through steady presence and integrity rather than performance. So parallel neutral definition, a man who knows what masculinity means to him. A man who knows what masculinity means to him feels grounded and rather than anxious about it, and expresses it through steady presence and integrity rather than performance. Steady presence and integrity rather than performance. Tell me more about this. It's really good how Whisperflow is hearing my voice even with all this background music, which is pretty cool. This comes from King, Warrior, Magician, Lover by Robert Muir, a Jungian psychoanalyst, and Douglas Gillette. He proposed that mature masculine psychology structure around 4 core archetypes. Backbone for much modern men's work, King is central ordering archetype. The energy of blessing, stewardship, and creating fertile order. A man in healthy king energy is calm, centered, and generative. He blesses others, affirms, mentors, makes people feel seen, takes responsibility for his wealth, family, team, community, and creates conditions where others flourish. Think of the difference a good leader's presence makes in a room. Warrior is the energy of aggression in service of a purpose. The warrior is the energy of aggression in service of purpose. Discipline, boundaries. Discipline, boundaries, decisiveness, loyalty to a cause greater than oneself. The healthy warrior trains, endures discomfort, says no, finishes things, and defends what he loves. Disarms violence for its own sake, its focused force under control. The magician is the energy of knowledge. The magician is the energy of knowledge, insight, and transformation. He blesses others, affirms, mentors, makes people feel seen, takes responsibility for his wealth, family, team, community. Energy of knowledge, insight, and transformation, the inner observer, the master of technology and hidden knowledge. He's the part that studies, sees through illusion, understands systems, initiates others into knowledge, the energy of knowledge, insight, and transformation, the inner observer, the master of technology and hidden knowledge. He's the part that studies, sees through illusion, understands systems, initiates others into knowledge, and can step back from raw emotion to reflect. Scientists, healers, advisors, and mentors draw on magician energy. The lover is the energy of connection, sensuality, aliveness, and feeling, appreciation of beauty, empathy, passion, the desire to merge with life rather than master it. It's the energy of connection, sensuality, aliveness and feeling, the appreciation of beauty, empathy, passion, the desire to merge with life rather than master it. Without the lover, the other three become cold and mechanical. He's what keeps a man related to people in the world rather than just controlling them. The desire to merge with life rather than master it. Without the lover, the other three become cold and mechanical. He's what keeps a man related to people. The shadow system. Remember in Gillette's key inside is that each archetype is a bipolar shadow. Two dysfunctional extremes, one inflated and one deflated. King, the tyrant, controlling, exploitative, or the weakling. Abdicates responsibility, passive. Warrior. It's so interesting. It's like to actually become one of them, you have to be formed into that through a lot of struggle. Someone who's just born with it is going to be really hard. They have so much distraction easily accessible that they cannot do it. And this is the reason why empires fall. This is the reason why empires will always fall. Because the people who are born into it will have so much distraction. Will have a lot of distraction to ever work on this transformation, let's say. Warrior, the sadist, cruelty, workaholism, scorched earth, aggression, or the masochist, pushover, can't defend himself. Magician, the manipulator who uses knowledge to deceive and control, or the innocent one, plays dumb, withholds, envious of others' growth. The manipulator uses knowledge to deceive and control, or the innocent one, plays dumb, withholds, envious of others' growth. Withholds, envious of others' growth. Lover, the addicted lover, lost in pleasure, no boundaries, restlessness, or the impotent lover, numb, depressed, cut off from feeling. The broader argument, most destructive male behavior, what gets called toxic masculinity is immature masculinity, but boy psychology. Men stuck in immature shadow versions of these patterns because modern culture lacks genuine initiation rituals to usher boys into manhood. The goal of inner work in that framing is to access all four energies in balance, the king integrating the other three. Worth knowing the critiques too. The framework is an empirically testable, a standard critique of Jungian psychology generally. It's built mostly for Western and selected mythological sources presented as universal, and the gender framing is contested. Many would say these are simply human capacities, order, will, insight, connection, rather than specifically masculine ones. More self-acknowledged women have access to the same energies, and a parallel queen, warrior, magician, lover literature exists. Full length, follow volume. Doesn't mean that every man falls into one of these archetypes, because I can see myself relating to one aspect from each of these archetypes. What you're noticing is exactly what the model is supposed to be. The four archetypes aren't personality types or boxed into to sort men into like Myers-Briggs categories. All four energies exist in every man simultaneously. King, warrior, magician, lover. Central ordering archetype. Energy of blessing, stewardship, and creating fertile order. Yeah, it's so interesting to learn all these stuff from AI rather than the book, because you could be wasting so much energy just reading the book, versus with AI you can actually first of all get a quick good summary of the concept. You can get the key lessons of the concept, Then you can see the critiques of the concept, and then you can really dive deeper into the specific rabbit holes that you want to dive into. So it makes the learning very much more engaging rather than actually trying to purchase that book from Amazon and then get that book and read it and spend months onto it and having a wrong interpretation on this entire thing. Iron personality types are boxed to sort men into Myers-Briggs categories. All four energies exist in every man simultaneously, but its psychological potentials. They are more like four rooms in the same house, or four instruments in one orchestra. This is a system working as described access and balance. Most men have easier access to some energies than others due to temperament, upbringing, and life experience. A man might have a strong warrior, disciplined, decisive, but an underdeveloped lover, cut off from feeling poor intimacy. Other might be all lover and magician, sensitive, insightful, but avoid conflict and never finish things because his warrior is offline. These imbalances are where the model gets practically useful. The underdeveloped archetype usually points at the area of life that keeps causing problems. Energy of aggression in service of a purpose. Energy of aggression in service of a purpose, discipline, boundaries, decisiveness, loyalty to a cause greater than oneself. The healthy warrior trains, endures discomfort, sees no, finishes things, and defends what he loves. It's not violence for its own sake, it's focused force and control. Where the model gets practically useful, the underdeveloped archetype usually points at the area of life that keeps causing problems. Shadow versus. Okay, I believe my warrior archetype is underdeveloped. How do I develop that? But avoid conflict and never finishes things because his warrior is offline. These imbalances are where the model gets practically useful. The underdeveloped archetype usually points at the area of life that keeps causing problems. Accessing energy in its mature form or one of its shadow poles. A man might have plenty of warrior energy but express it as the sadist, harshness toward himself and others rather than the disciplined protector. The developmental goal in the framework is integration, being able to draw on the right energy at the right moment. King, when your family needs steadiness. Warrior, when a deadline or boundary demands it. Magician, when a problem needs detached analysis. Lover, when your partner needs presence rather than solutions. The king archetype is said to sit at the center precisely because its job is coordinating the other three. Warrior, magician, lover. Very cool, very cool, very cool. Create an image for this. This is so cool. This is so cool. AI is getting so much better. AI is getting so much better. We can work on the streams and we can keep doing things. Wow. Wow. Really cool. Really cool. Really cool. I think we are at the very end, and let's see. Setting the scene. Good self-diagnosis is short from and more rigid. It's framing the warrior as the energy of discipline and aggression in service of something. So developing it isn't about becoming harsher. It's about building the capacity to commit, endure, confront, and finish. What is this? What is this? So developing it isn't about becoming a martyr, it's about building the capacity to commit, endure, confront, and finish. Here's what that looks like in practice. Start with the body. The warrior is the most physical of the four archetypes, and almost every tradition develops it somatically. Consistent physical training, especially something with an edge of difficulty or confrontation, like martial arts, which is in boxing are popular for exactly this reason. Strength training with progressive goals, or endurance work, does double duty. It builds tolerance for discomfort and gives you a repeated experience of doing the hard thing when you don't feel like it. The discipline matters more than the activity. 3 days a week, non-negotiable, beats an ambitious plan you abandon. Practice keeping small promises to yourself. An underdeveloped warrior usually shows up as a gap between intention and action. Plans made, plans broken. The repair is boring but powerful. Make small concrete commitments. Wake at a set time, go shower, write for 20 minutes, and keep them ruthlessly. Each copy this image, paste it over here. Oh. Copy, paste. Doesn't work. Enregistrer l'image. King, warrior, lover, magician. Okay, now let's see the image. I've downloaded it, so King, the goal, integration. When your family needs steadiness, King, center of integration, coordinates, balances, chooses what's needed. King, when your family needs steadiness. Magician, when a problem needs detached analysis. Warrior, when a deadline or boundary demands it. Lover, when your partner needs presence rather than solutions. Not about doing everything, it's about being who the moment calls for. Aware of the moment, chooses eventually, holds all four, led by the king. Holds all four, led by the king. King, warrior, magician, lover. This was very cool. Train boundaries deliberately. Warrior energy says no. You're conflict avoidant. You can't deploy force into the world if you don't believe your own word. Train boundaries deliberately. Warrior's energy says no if you're conflict avoidant. Start small. Decline an invitation you will normally accept out again. Return the wrong order at a restaurant. Tell a friend honestly when something didn't work for you. Notice the discomfort and act anyway. The discomfort is the training stimulus. Over time, escalate to harder conversations you have been postponing. Most men with a weak warrior a specific overdue confrontation they already know about. That's usually the real assignment. Find a mission to serve. This is the place that distinguishes the warrior from mere self-discipline. In the archetype, the warrior is always loyal to something beyond himself. In the archetype, the warrior is always loyal to something beyond himself. A cause, a craft, a family, a standard. Discipline without purpose collapses or curdles. Ask what am I building or protecting, and let your commitments organize around that. So saying no to distractions becomes saying yes to the mission rather than an act of willpower. Mission School of Curiosity. What am I building or protecting? Then let your commitments organize around that. So saying no to distractions becomes saying yes to the mission, rather than an act of willpower. Finish things. Pick one stalled project. the half-done course, the unshipped side project, the garage, and completed unglamorously to the end. The warrior signature isn't starting with intensity, it's the capacity to push through the dull middle. One genuine competition teaches more than 10 enthusiastic storms. Use structure and brotherhood. Warrior cultures are never solitary. Soldiers, dojos, teams, accountability from other men, a training partner, a men's group, even a single friend who checks your commitments, externalizes the discipline until it's internalized. Formal men's work groups explicitly build around this framework, like Mankind Project Style Circles, focuses much of its effort. Use structure and brotherhood. Use structure and brotherhood. Watch the shadow poles while you train. As you build this, the failure modes are predictable. Overshoot and you get the sadist harshness toward yourself, punishing workouts as self-attack. Contempt for weak people. Workaholism, undershoot and you stay the masochist. Swallowing resentment over apologizing. Enduring what should be confronted. The mature warrior is calibrated. Full force when needed. Shake it. Otherwise, a useful check. Is this discipline coming from service to my mission or from self-hatred? The first builds you. The second just relocates the problem. Serving my mission. Is this even coming from service to my mission? Serving my mission, School of Curiosity. Serving my mission, serving my mission. This is months of reps, not an insight you can think your way into. The warrior develops exclusively through action under resistance. Just fitting, since that's precisely what the